Hi guys, welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. Spurs 4, Aston Villa 1. Only Aston Villa's second defeat of the season, and almost the typical game of two halves. Villa came out first half and looked very comfortable, especially the first 15 minutes of the game and the last 10 minutes of the game. They went 1-0 up. And it looked to me very kind of like, I was saying at half time to Ash, who's with me, I was saying, I fear that if Villa get the next goal in the second half, then this could be a 4-0 the same way that we went to Villa Park last year and did 4-0. But Spurs came out second half, made an early chance, got an early goal, and from then it was just one-way traffic, an amazing performance. Ash, what are your kind of key takeaways from that game?
Well. It looks like Ange's subs actually worked, and it paid off once again. I mean, 1 week we criticise him for his subs, the other week we praise him, but today I think he got it spot on. It worked in our favour, and it was a game of two halves, as you rightly said. I think we questioned the mentality at one point. Can these players get it over the line? Can we get... Because let's be real, Aston Villa, they were coming off on top of us. They came in with 1-0.
And one of the hardest teams to be 1-0 down against.
Exactly, because they were so compact, so resolute. We couldn't find a way through that low block. And then in possession, they were really tidy, looking after it. And they were doing a bit of the dark arts as well.
Yeah.
So there was times where they knew to slow it down. We didn't really know what to do. And they were killing our momentum each time we tried to create attack. And the fans in the stadium were quiet as a result of it.
Yeah, they were. It was a great away performance from Villa in that first half. But what do you think, like, if you're going to hypothesise as to what Ange might have said to Spurs at half-time that then made them start in a way that pushed Villa back?
I think what he would have probably said is to keep that energy up, keep pressing them. I said before, when they're building up the back, actually Spurs do have opportunity to win that ball high up and then create chances off the back of it. Yeah. And we started to see that in that second half. And the introduction to some of the substitutes, Sonny wasn't happy at all. I didn't think Sonny was having a bad game, if I'm being totally honest. And the first
good game, he set up the equaliser.
The first three incidents that Richarlison had when he came on, he kept losing it. He was making the wrong decisions, and I questioned Richarlison's football IQ, knowing when to hold on to the ball to recycle it, knowing when to take it on. Yeah. It's not always on where you're able to take your man on. So sometimes you just have to use your teammates and scan the pitch a little bit better. And I was complaining about the players not making angles in that first half. We looked like it was a 2-3-5 where the front five almost stood in a straight line. Yeah. And it was very easy for Aston Villa to put 5 across their back line to defend it. And so when we started having a bit more momentum, a bit more control, and space opened up because Villa started coming onto us. Yeah, that's when we looked a bit more dangerous. And I said to you as well during the game, I don't mind it when Aston Villa have the ball because that means we do what we do best. Well,
that's similar to what happened against Man City in the week as well, isn't it? Where we were quite happy to kind of sit back, let them do their thing, and then hit them on the break. I just want to say, good super chat here from Eric Denham. Thank you so much for writing in with the super chat. He says, all the Ange out lads can go chew on bricks. Go support Man United, you unhappy lot. Thanks so much for that. Ash, let's just go through the match action, because I like to make notes as we go along so I can not really miss anything out. So I'll start back at the beginning. Ollie Watkins, I'll kind of try and rush through the first half, but Ollie Watkins should have scored in the third minute. Had a really good chance. A header came from a Luca Dean corner, almost identical to a goal that he had chalked off against Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season. But thankfully this time, Radu Dragusin, who we'll go into more later because he had a great game, I think, he put enough pressure on Watkins that meant that goal did not happen. Porro then had a volley over the bar after 5 minutes. Solanke had a decent chance from a Porro free kick. Just the ball was a bit behind him, headed over the bar in the 13th minute, but Solanke was putting himself about all game. I really, honestly, I would ask any of you who think Solanke, I saw some in the comments when we were 1-0 down saying Solanke is a waste of money. I don't think anybody who knows football properly thinks that Solanke is anything other than an unbelievable signing. The difference in how Spurs keep the ball in the final third now compared to a year ago is chalk and cheese. I made notes on 15 minutes. Villa had started really well. They were in control of the game at that point, I thought. Bentancur then had a couple of shots over the bar. Johnson got to the byline once, cut it back. Martinez claimed it easily. And then around the half an hour mark was when Villa really put the pressure on, and that's what led to the goal. Ramsey had a shot deflected over the bar first from a block from Dragusin. That's in the 29th minute. 30th minute, Onana hits the post from a big high ball that came over, gets his head and his neck muscles behind it, hits the post, then hits Vicario, and then from a resulting corner, it comes in, and it's a goal we conceded that a lot of people in the comments, and a lot of people, certainly the commentator and the co-commentator, were blaming Vicario for. They're certainly angry that we don't put a man on the opposition player who stands on Vicario. Where do you stand on that?
I said it before, because when Archie Gray came on, I was like, actually, it looks like we're doing the zonal slash man marking, and I think Udogie was actually just being a zonal defender, marking his zone. But again, Barnaby mentioned it earlier, and I agree. Sometimes, as a player, you need to play the game. It's not your manager that's playing the game. It's not the staff that are playing the game. You need that initiative, and you need to start, actually, I've lost my player.
Yeah.
I can't see him. I can't see where he's going. Okay, what if the ball lands here? What am I going to do to prevent that? And it's being that proactive, being forward thinking. Sometimes as a player,
sniffing the danger, isn't it?
Exactly, smelling out the danger, and being there first. And you can get a foot in, you can get a block, and it looks like you're a top defender. But I don't think for Doggy, if I'm going to look at him in isolation, that's one of his strengths, in my opinion. He's still a young guy. He's still learning. And especially with like box defending, do you know what I mean? His strength's more carrying the ball, attacking prowess.
He's still more comfortable going forward than he is back, but that will improve.
It will.
And I've seen improvements already, and I've seen massive improvements with Pedro Porro's defending as well.
Yeah.
So it will only continue. Then in the 34th minute, Sonny got to the byline, and Martinez claimed another cross. Bentancur put in his first of quite a few terrible tackles on Onana in the 39th minute, and somehow wasn't booked. And then Ollie Watkins had a huge chance to make it 2-0 in the 41st minute, and that might have put us to bed, you know. Got in on the inside left channel, takes his left foot, tries to bury it into the bottom right corner, but snatches at it wide. And then we had probably our best chance in the first half just in added time. There was 1 minute of added time. Solanke had a chance to bring it onto his right foot, place it, but it was blocked. Just before I get into the second half, thank you, Appa, for your super chat. He says, Sarr is a must in all crucial games. His desire and stamina stands out. Couldn't agree more, actually. I don't know if it's necessarily about crucial games, but I think it's games like that. It's like games where you need people to, you almost need, for me, and let me know if you agree, Ash, you need to bring the opposition block out. You need to make runs behind them and make them stretch, is what I'm talking about. And that's something he did brilliantly, but also what he was incredible at today, and probably the best I've ever seen him at this, was reading the game, nicking balls in central midfield.
And sometimes I think as a player, you need to have that physical presence when you let the other team know, look, you're not going to be able to have 3 or 4 touches on the ball because I'm here. And sometimes we've been accused of actually having a soft underbelly and not really being present in the game and not being there, like you said, nicking that ball, being first for the ball, looking for the second balls. And I think he did that really well today.
Yeah, I think he did as well. Okay, so let's get into the second half. And we discussed at halftime how we were debating. I think a lot of fans will have been calling for, you know, do we bring James Maddison on straight away to play him alongside Kulusevski to have more creativity? Because, as you mentioned, Aston Villa was so compact and narrow at that point. My feeling was, let's wait and see if we can get the equaliser with you know, the kind of strength down the middle still on the pitch. And that's what happened in the 48th minute from Brennan Johnson. And it was Heung-min Son who very soon after this was actually taken off, I think, for his own kind of long-term injury safety. And now you have to say that looks like an unbelievable decision. But he just found half a yard. It was Beckham-esque, actually, but on the other side, where you don't need to beat the man every time with pace. Just get your half a yard. And his left foot cross on his swinger, by the way, do not forget, that's his weaker foot, if there is indeed a weaker foot. But all the training that his dad has put in with him in the David Lloyd Centre, near where he lives, after Tottenham training, really came to the fore as he whipped an absolute beauty.
You watched the documentary.
And Brennan Johnson came in with that Johnson-esque perfect Ange run from the back post, kept himself onside perfectly, and has just the easiest of finishes in. Should say just behind Johnson was Dom Solanke as well, who I think was ready to finish that as well. And then we had momentum. The fans were up. Solanke had a chance and that he hits to the bottom left-hand save really well. Bottom left-hand corner, sorry, really well saved by Martinez in the 50th minute. That came from a beautiful Udogie overlapping run and pass into the box. Then Porro was booked for a bad tackle in the 53rd. It was a bit bitty and scratchy at this point as Villa were going down a lot and trying to waste time. And actually, it was around this period that we started getting some of our injuries. McGinn shot wide in the 54th minute. And then it was the 55th minute when Rishi came on for Son and Bissouma came on for Bentancur. And Bissouma, I'll say again, he did a couple of mad kind of unconcentrated things. But what he is so good at, Yves Bissouma, is the hard, difficult skills. The stuff where it's like he's under loads of pressure in a really tight space. And he's just really laissez-faire. Do you know who he reminds me of in terms of his like laissez-faire attitude on the pitch? Freddie Canuto. Freddie Canuto, like they're different players, but on the pitch, Canuto was just like this. I mean, and Berbatov a little bit as well. Just relax, I just want to enjoy the game. But unfortunately with Bissouma, it's great when it works, but when he just lets a 5-yard ball shin off his foot, it's slightly frustrating. Romero was booked for the late tackle in the 57th minute, but it was that tackle on Rodgers that I think might have broken his toe. Does it look like a broken toe to you, potentially?
I'm hoping it's a fracture. No, I'm hoping, sorry, it's a sprain, not a fracture. I'm hoping it's a sprain, and he's out for... He's going to be out. I don't think he'll feature, obviously, on Tuesday. He's probably going to be rested anyway.
Yeah, Thursday.
But Thursday, sorry. But yeah, we have to wait and see. I wouldn't want to speculate any more than what's happened. Obviously, it's a bad injury. We need It's not just also his defensive ability. I think on the ball, especially in this game, his progressive passing often gets undernoticed by not just Spurs fans, but a lot of fans that are neutral as well. And I've done a few analyses on it, and he's always first in terms of progressive passing.
Yeah, he is.
And he plays those difficult balls in between the lines to our front 4 or 5 or 3, whoever's up top there.
Yeah. I think it's another opportunity, I think, to say, though, when Dragoshin, especially when he moved to the right after Romero went off, he was a lot more comfortable on the ball and was playing some of those brave balls as well. It was in the 74th minute that Dominic Solanke scored the second goal for Spurs, and it was so good, and the timing of his run was absolutely outstanding. Kulusevski's through ball was brilliant, but the finish, the dink finish. And it actually all started from Ben Davis at the back, who'd come on for Romero. He comes in, kind of just sees the ball and sees the game in the midfield and comes in, finds Kulusevski, was it? Or was there might have been a couple passes before it, but anyway, Kulusevski, lovely ball. And Solanke, considering he hasn't scored for a good few games, sees Martinez coming at him, he's a huge guy, and just dinks it. Beautiful.
It was so composed. I think that's what I loved about it the most. You want your striker. Look, to be fair, there's a lot of pressure on him because he was 65 million. And with that price tag comes that kind of expectation of a lot of fans. And he was that player.
The only goals he scored for Spurs, sorry to interrupt, but the only goals he scored for Spurs so far have been basically rebounds off the keeper, haven't they? Where he's been foxed in the box.
Yeah.
Not that that's a problem. I love that. But this was his best finish.
Yeah, 100%. And so the style of finish, the type of finish, under pressure, in front of the keeper, like you said, he read the keeper coming out. And knew what some people in front of goal, if they see the keeper comes out, they're going to hit straight at the keeper, or they might go around him and team over. but that finish there just shows like the minerals he has, so the mentality, but then also the quality he possesses. And this is just a natural striker's finish, I think, and that's what I'm happy about.
I actually think Harry Kane would have hit that low.
Yeah,
I think he would have hit that low.
Yeah,
and this time Solanke just dinked him, and it was right. I mean, and especially like you said, under the pressure of. I'm telling you this: if he dinked him and the keeper just stood up, there would have been problems. There would have been problems. Anyway,
get rid of it.
Then in the 78th minute, sorry, actually I should say, so that was the 74th minute. Then the next few minutes, Villa really piled the pressure on, actually. Got a few corners, Onana had a shot over the bar, but then the 78th minute, only 4 minutes after our goal, Solanke scored his second, and Richarlison, as you mentioned, he'd made a few bad decisions just after he'd come on. He came on the left-hand side for Son. But this time, he got in down the left. He was put in, I think there was a break through the middle, and he was put in, was it by Johnson maybe, or Kulusevski? I can't remember. But he's in down the left, and we're all expecting him to try and hit it to the bottom right corner, and he cuts it back for Solanke. It was a beautiful cutback. He does his hamstring whilst cutting it back, so it looks like he'll probably be out for a month or two, which is unfortunate for him and all the injuries he's had. But it was so good to see Richarlison do that because, like I said to you, I actually like Richarlison on the left, and if you speak to Everton fans, a lot of them say he does his best work on the left. Remember the best goal he's ever scored for us as well at Goodison Park? From the left into the far left-hand corner, just like Sonny does. And also that beautiful cross he gave against Liverpool at home last season, outside of the boot. So I feel like it kind of takes the pressure off Richarlison playing on the left there. But again, we're struggling with injuries at the moment. We probably won't see him for a while. After that, it was kind of Villa putting pressure on Spurs in a low block until the 96th minute. We get a free kick outside the box. Solanke was fouled, and they line up their wall. And I've been saying for ages, I want James Maddison to get a free kick for Spurs. I think it'll boost his confidence, make him play better. And he finally got it, and it was a beauty.
It was a beauty, and I want to mention Solanke in that move there because, as you said, we were under a bit of a quash at the moment, even at 3-1. We saw like, the minutes went up, the scoreboard went up, and it was like an extra 10 minutes on top. And, Spurs typically, we have surrendered leads in the past. Yeah. So, Dom again... Brighton. Yeah, Brighton being the prime example. But Dom showing his exemplary hold-up play, gets the ball into feet, and he wins that free kick in that position. And as you said before, Richarlison, when he was the striker, or when Son was the striker, sometimes we weren't able to hold on to possession, which would put more pressure on the team. And as a result, we would concede goals. So, yes, we want to praise his attacking ability and his goals. But just his all-around performance helps the team, not just offensively, but defensively. The more you can hold on to the ball, the less pressure there is on the team. And that free kick that Maddison came on did was just a peach of a ball. He put it in that top bins, and he did it like, I always do this,
It really reminded me, actually, I'm going to show my age again here, but like back in when England were trying to qualify for the 1994 World Cup, and Ronald Koeman had a free kick, not quite the same position, but similar distance out. And the commentator's going, he's going to dink it, and all Maddison knows, if I can get it over the wall, and I think it was actually in the end just a little wide of the wall and gets enough curl on it, keeper's not going to get there. He didn't have to put much pace on it because it was so close to the 18-yard box, and that is just pure technique.
It is.
And Spurs do not score a lot of goals from direct free kicks. The last free kick I can remember us scoring from, if I'm not mistaken, Harry Kane in one of his last games for us, when they finally, which I've been calling for years, Kane had taken so many free kicks where he's trying to dink it over the wall, chip it. Just do what they used to do for Shearer, touch it to him so he can put his laces through it.
That was it.
And he did it, wasn't it? It was one of the last games of the season when Mason was in charge to put it in the top corner. So I'm glad that we now have a free kick taker who has a goal behind him, and I think it'll do wonders for Maddison's confidence. He won't have been delighted, Maddis, that he was dropped today. But I think Ange's decision was justified. I think Kulusevski, again, a brilliant assist. He's having a wonderful season. And if you're Maddis, you just look at it and you'll be like, there are going to be enough games for me. There are going to be enough games for me. I don't think he needs to worry about that.
I think Ange did well to kind of manage that dynamic because Maddison, to me, he looks like the type of personality where he wants to be,
the main man.
The main guy. He's got the number 10 shirt. He took it off Kane. He took it straight away. So him sitting on the sidelines watching everything might have been quite hard for him, to be fair. So, as you said, it was not just about Maddison scoring a goal. It's about the team, the emphatic. What it says is a statement win, the 4-1. And actually, Kulusevski did a lot of running. He worked extremely hard off the ball for us, but when we needed a bit of quality, he was also there. But I wanted to mention Sarr again because I felt before the actual move of that goal where Kulu does the through ball into Dom Solanke, it was Sarr that did the little, not a 1-2, but he got the ball, got it short, picked it up again, drove with the ball, and then he found Kulusevski. And then also for Richarlison, he actually drove the ball to the edge of the area, and he what he did is he took his time. He didn't rush it. He kind of carried the ball into that dangerous area, into the box, and then he laid it off to Richarlison and put enough weight on it, a bit of quality, and then the rest was history. Do you know what I mean?
And there have been a few people in the comments saying Son is finished. Son had a bad game. Son is rusty. Son has been out injured. He's had 2 injuries, actually. He was rusty, but still, when the moment came and we needed we needed something magic to happen, he provided the piece of magic, and he will be absolutely fine. The key for Sonny is keep him fit and don't, he's played so much football in the last few years. He travels so far, so regularly. Keep him fit, get him on the pitch, and he will provide moments of magic for Tottenham Hotspur.
I agree with you with that at some point. I think lots of people want to see their wingers beat players, be dribbly, but actually what you need to do is create separation from your man. And when he created separation from that fullback, that was enough for him to whip that ball in. And look, if it's a poor game for Son, he didn't even play a full 90, he still got an assist. He still played a key role in us getting the win today.
Exactly. Okay, guys, that is the end of the post-match reaction show. We will be back again in about 10 minutes' time with the post-match fan show. Make sure you call in, talk to us, let us know how you feel. We don't get, you just don't get big results against teams who are above you that often like that. So enjoy it, get onto the chat with us, and we will definitely have a good post-match fan show. Also, like this video if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to We Are Tottenham TV. Make sure you subscribe to Spurs Kings TV and at @BarnabySlater_ for daily Tottenham content. We'll be back in about 10 minutes time. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.